do not go into mediation blind. Do not go into mediation thinking like, hey, I'm just gonna go sit down with this mediator and they're gonna tell us what to do. Those are huge mistakes. Before you go to mediation, you should be prepared. One of the things you can do to prepare is understand what the process is, right? Understand what mediation actually is. It is not a judge. It is not a court hearing, right? It is a private session that you have with a neutral third person. This person is not going to take your side. They're not going to take your spouse's side. They are a neutral person who's going to help facilitate the communication between you two. They are not going to make decisions for your life. You are being empowered by this process to make decisions that fit for your life. You're the one who's going to have to leave that office and live with the decisions that you make. And at the end of the day, you don't have to reach a decision. You don't have to have a settlement agreement. But if you are pretty close to reaching agreements that you can live with, then you can sign it. But the mediator can't force you to sign anything. So I think that's one of the first things that you can do about getting prepared for mediation is understanding what the mediation process is. It's not like what it's on TV. You're not going to court. It is a communication session. Another thing that people can do to get prepared for mediation is to have their financials ready to go. It's like the worst when you go into mediation and nobody has any spreadsheets, or only one side has a spreadsheet and the other person is completely unprepared. They don't know what the values of their assets are. They don't know what the amount of the claims are for reimbursement. They haven't done the analysis. They don't know how much money they're going to need for spousal support or alimony, right? They just come in there without they just expect the mediator to be able to pull all that information and day of. And that's like one of the worst things you can do. It takes forever. It costs everybody time and money and aggravation. And so come prepared. Have a spreadsheet of your assets and debts. Have a plan for how you want to have those things divided. Have the paperwork. If you're asking for a reimbursement or if you're saying something is your separate property, have the proof to back it up so that you can show it to the other side so that you can have a negotiation and with some basis, right? Don't go in there expecting to just have the mediator figure it out, because that's not the mediator's job. One of the best things you can do for your mediation is to have an idea of what you're willing to compromise on and what you want. So have your best case scenario and have your worst case scenario. Communicate that to your attorney so that you can help build the strategy. And let the attorney negotiate for you. Sometimes people will come in and they will just, this is my final offer. And the problem with that is like what you think is your final offer, your line in the sand, may not be acceptable to the other side. And so then you're stuck in this box that you've created for yourself with no wiggle room. So have it broken down into, okay, on this issue, here's my high and low. On this issue, here's my high and low. And together you guys are going to build a sort of jigsaw puzzle to come up with an overall picture that you're both going to be somewhat okay with, and will allow you guys to move on with your lives. I think it's important for you to understand what to expect as far as like logistics when you go into mediation. Nowadays, we can do virtual mediations, we can do in-person mediations. So that's the first thing you should probably find out is it going to be virtual and is it going to be in person? If it's in person, you want to find out what the environmental conditions are going to be like. Is it going to be chilly? Should I bring layers, right? Are they going to have food provided? Should I provide my own food? If you have food allergies or food dietary requirements, communicate that to the mediator so that they can make sure that that's provided for. And even if you have, if you have fears or concerns about your spouse, see if the mediator has a separate entrance, or maybe they can stagger the start and end times of mediation so that you don't have to face your spouse. I think a lot of people think that they're going to be sitting in the same room with their spouse during the mediation, and that's actually not usually true. Some mediators will do it, and there is no set rule in Texas. Every mediator kind of runs the mediations their own way, but generally speaking, we don't like having, as mediators, and as someone who's a trained mediator, we don't like having the parties in the same room. You put them separately, you communicate, and if you really just don't want to deal with your spouse, don't want to see them, relay that to the mediator so that they can make sure to take care of that so that you feel comfortable and confident in the decisions that you're going to be making. If you want to learn more about mediation, contact us at www.familylawdfw.com.